Good morning, students. Welcome to this counseling session, which has been arranged for the benefit of all the students of Intermediate Paper 1 Accounting who are appearing in May 22 examination. As you all know, today in the series of counseling sessions, it's the first counseling session of Paper 1 Accounting, and for intermediate papers, we are organizing these counseling sessions starting from today, and it will be ending on 2nd of May. So these counseling sessions are aimed to provide you guidance for the preparation strategy for the examination. We will also try to resolve the queries which will be asked by you during the session. We all want that active participation of all the students is here in the counseling session so that they are really successful. As you know, as far as accounting paper is concerned, accounting is a very crucial paper in the chartered accountancy curriculum. The significance, the importance of this subject can be judged from the fact that we have accounting paper in both groups of intermediate, and that too the very first paper. It's a very scoring paper. I would like all the students to practice more and more to gain confidence in the paper. आप जितनी मेहनत करेंगे उतना ही फल पाएंगे. अकाउंटिंग एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है जिसके अंदर आपका प्रैक्टिस, डिटर्मिनेशन एंड कॉन्फिडेंस आपका तभी बढ़ेगा जब आप मेहनत करेंगे और जितने ज्यादा से ज्यादा हो सके उतने ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप सवालों को प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. So with this advice, we are starting this counseling session today, and we hope that you will see by the core of your heart, and you will understand the concepts of accounting in such a manner that you are able to attempt the questions in the examination. Do not panic while seeing the question papers. You have the exams are starting from 15th of May, so around 15 days you are having. And I am CA Seema Gupta, Faculty Board of Studies, and with me
I am CA Asha, Faculty of Accounting from Board of Studies.
And we are here to guide you about the strategy for preparation for accounting paper, and we will like to resolve all your queries in between the session. So without wasting much time, we will start focusing on the key concepts of the chapters covered in the curriculum of accounting. As you know that accounting is a very scoring paper, and by doing more and more practice of the practical problems, you will gain confidence, and then only you will be able to attempt the question paper within the prescribed time period of 3 hours. The reading time is also there, and which you are advised to take benefit of the same while making the choice of the questions, and while deciding about the priority of the questions which you will be attempting in the examination.
Ma'am, the main problem is that the students lose the confidence regarding the temptation of paper. The purpose of this counseling session is to support you or to motivate you and clear all the queries or any other problem which you are right now considering your exam. So we are here to help you and guide you.
That is the main problem, Asha, ki while attempting the questions in the examination hall, the students are fumbled. They become nervous, they become panicked because they have not solved the question. They have not solved the questions before by their own hand. They just study the questions rather than practice the questions by their own hand in the registers. So if you have solved the questions by your own hand, and if you have really worked on the problems, you have worked on the working notes, you have studied the formats, and you have fitted all the figures in the formats of the financial statement, then definitely there will be no problem in the examination hall. And that is the main concern, and that's why we are here to guide you about how to prepare, how to study, how to make that timetable, how to make the time plan according to which you can attempt the questions in the examination.
How to revise right now, because you have only 15 days to attempt your question, and how to write your question papers, and how to manage your time regarding this crucial time.
Yes, because I think all of you might have prepared for the examination at least once, and now it's a revision
time
phase.
Only.
Yeah, it's a revision phase in which you have to recap your all the previously studied key points, and you have to remember all the adjustments and while attempting the question. And most importantly is the formats. Like in company accounts portion, you have to remember the formats of the financial statements, and there have been little bit amendment in schedule 3 also. So that you have to consider, like where you have to see the current liabilities of long-term debts. So whatever this type of amendment is there, that you have to remember. And we have also we would like to focus on the RTP also. In RTP of May 22 examination, we have already covered the amendments which are applicable for the students for May 22 examination. So you are advised to read those amendments, to understand those amendments, and to solve the questions according to that, because otherwise you will lose the marks.
We are just trying to give you some tips for your preparation and attempting your question, and I think it will be better for you. So utilize this 1 hour for the betterment of your preparation.
Yeah, definitely.
We are trying to share some screen here, so it will be benefit for you.
As you know, for May 22, the cutoff date is 30th October, 31st October 2021, and all the relevant notified sections of the Companies Act legislative amendments, including relevant notifications, circular rules and guidelines issued by the regulating authorities up to 31st October 2021 will be applicable for May 22 examination.
Actually, ma'am, some students ask query ki up to which date all the amendments will be applicable. That's why we are here clarify you that all the notifications or any changes, any amendment up to the date of the 30th October. It is up to the date of 31st October 2021. All the amendments up to this date only will be applicable for these May 2022 examination.
So it means any amendment which has come in November or so, that will not be applicable for the concerned examination, because the cutoff date is 6 months. And you have to understand the curriculum of your paper. You have to understand the syllabus of your paper. There are 14 chapters in total in your paper, and we are having 3 modules of study material where we are covering those topics. Especially module 2 is very important because it contains the portion of company accounts. In that, the main issue is that you have to give the financial statements of companies in the prescribed formats of schedule 3. So whether it's a question of bonus issue, whether it's a question of redemption of preference shares, whether it's a question of redemption of debentures, wherever you are asked to prepare the balance sheet
of a company,
then you have to remember the format. However, it does not matter that if it's a non-company entity, if it's a non-corporate entity, then whatever way you are preparing financial statement, that would suffice the purpose. But you have to give the working notes. Working notes are important and they carry marks. It's very important to give the working notes, without which the marks will not be allocated to you. As you know that there is a system of proportionate checking, step-by-step checking in our CA examination system, evaluation system. So where we have step-by-step marking for each and every step, you will lose marks if that step is not clear, if that step is wrong, or if that step is not provided. So you have to remember this while attempting the question in the examination. So like here, I would like to focus on the essentials of preparation for the paper. You have to know your subject, you have to know the curriculum. I have already told that there are 14 chapters in your curriculum. You have to familiarize with the knowledge inputs. So here the term knowledge inputs. What are the knowledge inputs we are providing to you? We are providing to you the RTP. Study material is a base. Study material is a base. I am not writing the study material here because study material is a base material which we are providing to you, which you, on the basis of which you have to start your preparation. You have to start the preparation, not start the revision. You have to start the preparation. But RTPs, after completing the syllabus once, you are advised to refer the RTP for attempting the questions and to check the amendments. Then we have MTPs.
Ma'am, some students ask question regarding the MTPs, how to attempt at MTPs, or in which branches they are available. So they are not aware about the procedure of the MTPs.
MTPs are already hosted on our website. You can attempt those MTPs. If you want to go to the regional branches and attempt there, you can go there. You can register yourself there, and you can sit there in stimulated examination conditions. You can apply. You can do the exam, and then the branches will also help you in evaluation of the answer sheet. This is also one additional point where the branches are supporting the students. So we have RTPs, we are providing you MTPs, and then we have, if you do not want to go to any branch or something like that, you can directly take out the printout, you can take the printout from the website of our MTPs, and then after 2 days, the answers will be hosted there on. So after attempting the questions, you can compare your answers with the answers which have been already hosted on the website, and you can check where you are wrong, where the lacuna is there, where you are incorrect, so you can correct that in future.
अच्छा मैम, एक प्रॉब्लम और भी है, स्टूडेंट्स पता ही नहीं है व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ एमटीपीज. आपको एमटीपीज करने क्यों है, उनका क्या बेनिफिट होने वाला है आपको, आप उसके बारे में कुछ अवेयर ही नहीं है. अगर आप सेम डे पे भी, जब वी आर होस्टिंग द एमटीपीज ऑन द सेम डे, इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू अटेम्प्ट ऑन द सेम डे, यू कैन आल्सो अटेम्प्ट ऑन एनी अदर डे, बिकॉज ये आपके हमेशा ही वेब पे होस्टेड है, अपडेटेड. आप पहले आप क्वेश्चन करिए एज पर द जितने भी आपका क्वेश्चन एग्जामिनेशन का पैटर्न होता है उसी के हिसाब से एमटीपीज होते हैं, उसको अटेम्प्ट कीजिए विद इन द सेम टाइम, 3 hours में ही उसको अटेम्प्ट करो. उसके बाद आप खुद उसको इवेल्युएट भी कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज आंसर आर आल्सो होस्टेड ऑन द वेबसाइट. उससे द पर्पस क्या है एमटीपीज का, आपको पता लग जाएगा आपको कितनी प्रिपरेशन हो गई है, कहाँ पे आप वीक हैं. तो स्टूडेंट्स जब अपने आप को इवेल्युएट करता है तभी उसको पता लगता है कि उसकी कहाँ कहाँ वीक पॉइंट रह गया है, तभी आप अपनी स्टडी पे और ज्यादा ध्यान दे सकते हो. यू हैव टू फोकस ऑन ऑल दैट एरियाज विच यू आर फाइंडिंग आउट दैट यू आर वीक ऑन दैट पॉइंट.
डेफिनेटली आपको ये समझ आ जाएगा कि आप किस चैप्टर में आपको और मेहनत की जरूरत है. तो बेसिकली यू नो फॉर द बिफोर द फाइनल शो dress rehearsal is there.
Yeah.
So it is basically a concept of rehearsal. You can say it is a concept of dress rehearsal where you can attempt the question paper in the stimulated examination conditions, and you can judge yourself. Judgment of your performance is very important, because if you are just preparing, you're not evaluating yourself. That would not suffice the purpose, because in final examination you will not gain the confidence. You have never attempted the questions in the examination conditions. So that is very important. Mock test papers are very important to be attempted, and I have seen so many students who have already prepared, and they're very confident of their preparation, but when they attempt mock test papers, they really come to us that we are not able to complete
because they don't
paper.
know how to plan at the time of examination hall. They don't know how to write the question paper, how to solve their illustrations. They don't know anything about how to attempt it. The purpose of this mock test paper is to आपको proper बता सकें कि आपको एग्जाम में कैसे अटेम्प्ट करना है. आपको अपने एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में जब आप बैठे हो, आपके पास 3 घंटे ही हैं, उससे ज्यादा नहीं है. आपको उस 3 घंटे में आपको अपने 6 क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट करने हैं. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज कंपल्सरी. Out of 5 question you have to attempt, and 1 internal choice question is there. But students aware ही नहीं है कि उन्हें करना क्वेश्चन है. आप स्टूडेंट्स कहाँ पे लैक करता है, लैक वहीं पे करता है क्योंकि उसकी रिटन प्रैक्टिस नहीं है. they don't know how to write the format of the schedule 3. schedule 3 को क्या करते हैं, स्टूडेंट सिर्फ रीड कर रहे होते हैं. तो रीड में क्या है, एक बार आप लिख के तो देखो उसको, आपको पता तो हो कि आपके असेट्स में क्या आइटम आ रहे हैं, आपके लायबिलिटीज में क्या है. जब आप रिटर्न करते हैं तो आपका माइंड और आपका हाथ एक कनेक्शन बनाता है, आपको लर्निंग में हेल्प करता है. जब आप खुद से लिखेंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि हाँ मैंने लिखा हुआ है, तो आपका माइंड ऑटोमेटिकली उन आइटम्स को बताएगा कि आपको वहां लेके जाना है. स्टूडेंट्स रिटन प्रैक्टिस करते ही नहीं है एग्जाम में.
It means the time planning is required for both purposes, at the time of preparation or whether in the examination hall, while attempting the question paper or while preparing for the examination. For both the purposes, the time planning is very crucial. And what are the relevant materials which you are required to study? I have already told you have to study the BUS knowledge inputs. BUS knowledge input means BUS study material. Number 1, For May 22 examination, September 21 edition of the study material is relevant. If you are having the old study material, so you please note that you have to refer the amendments from the RTP, and wherever the amendments are there which have to be incorporated in the particular chapter, that you have to refer from the website. As you know that as a CA student, it's very important to make it a habit to regularly refer the ICI website. BOS Knowledge Portal, you have to refer on a continuous basis to check the study material, to check any amendment, to check any latest new amendment or questions which have been loaded, which have been uploaded in the website. Prepare notes for revisions. What does it mean, prepare notes for revision? In accounting subject as such, there are no notes which are required, but because it's not a practical paper, it's not a theoretical paper, it's a practical paper, but for all the important adjustment, for all the important tricky points, wherever you are finding that this point is very crucial, I have to remember it, I have to keep it into consideration at the last point of my preparation. So those all important points you have to assimilate at one particular place, and where you can revise at the later point of time. You have to keep yourself updated and attempt mock test papers, as we have already told. Mock test papers attempting is very important, and that's why after completion of both series of our mock test papers, we are here to provide you counseling for the benefit of your preparation, for your preparation, for your revision. So as I have already told, you have to be very familiar with the syllabus. The paper of accounting at intermediate level concentrates on crucial conceptual understanding of the crucial aspects of accounting. Working knowledge of the principles and procedures of accounting and their application of different practical situations is required. What does it mean? It means that you have to understand the concepts of accounting, first of all, from the theoretical portion, whichever is given in the study material. Then you have to apply it to the practical problems. How will you apply it to the practical problems? By solving the questions on your own. First of all, we are giving you the short illustrations, small problems, you have to solve them.
Some examples are also provided here.
Yeah, we have some examples also. And then in test your knowledge, we are giving you number of questions. MCQs also are there. Theoretical questions are there. Practical questions in all forms. Short question, very short question, big type of problems, 15 marks problem, 10 marks problem. So that you have to solve, through which you will be able to understand your conceptual clarity is clear or not. You have understood the chapter, you will be able to judge.
MCQs are provided only for the purpose of the clarity of the concepts only. No? As in our examination pattern, no MCQs will ask in the question paper. Hai na? But for the better understanding and the conceptual clarity, we are providing you the MCQs in the test your knowledge of each chapter.
Yeah. That means MCQs as such in your accounting curriculum, in your accounting examination, the MCQs are not covered. You will not be asked any MCQ, but still we are giving you MCQs as study material so that you can evaluate yourself in a better way, and that they will give you conceptual clarity. You will be able to make thorough knowledge of the concepts given in the study material. And we have already told the syllabus of accounting has been segregated into 14 chapters for the purpose of full coverage of the study paper. Now the topics covered in this paper are: number 1, process of formulation of accounting standards, that is covered as chapter 1 in module 1. Then we have framework for preparation and presentation of financial statements as per accounting standards, not as per India's. We are covering the framework for preparation and presentation of financial statements.
Ma'am, as intermediate level, India's are not applicable.
No, at intermediate level, India's are not applicable. Only accounting standards are relevant for you. You are not required to bother about the India's. And what about the accounting standards which are covered in the syllabus? AS1, AS2, AS3, AS10, AS11, AS12, 13, and 16. So there are around 8 accounting standards in total which are applicable for you.
For paper 1 accounting only.
For paper 1 accounting only. And in chapter 4, we are covering preparation of financial statements. Chapter 4, basically, we are dividing into 2 units. Unit 1, where we are requiring you to prepare the financial statements. And in unit 2, cash flow. Cash flow statement has to be prepared in line with AS3. So in accounting, you have to understand the interconnectivity of the topics where you are required to abide by the accounting standards provisions. Mostly the students are not able to attempt the questions of accounting standards. They find it difficult to attempt the questions of accounting standards. So we would like you to understand the provisions of accounting standards. Bare text of accounting standards is very important to be studied. You have to study the bare text of accounting standard, where you will be. We have accounting pronouncement booklet also, where we are providing the bare text of accounting standards, through which you can understand the accounting standards, and then only you can move step by step to the problems on accounting standards. And generally at intermediate level, we are given a particular accounting situation. We are given a particular situation where we are either being asked to give the correct accounting treatment and to justify the treatment in line with the AS, or some accounting treatment is already given in the question which is wrong. So we have to say that it's a this treatment was not required. This was this is a correct treatment. This is not the correct treatment. This should be the correct treatment. So that type of situation is you have to assimilate, and then you have to give the answer.
That means, ma'am, only 8 accounting standards cover the minimum 20 marks.
Yeah, 8 accounting standards cover minimum 20 marks. Moreover, there is one or two. There may be one question in the last question also. So
that means minimum 20 marks can be achieved by learning this, understanding these 8 accounting standards. Yeah. And these are very easy accounting standards. AS1, AS2, AS3, these all are very easy and easy to understand. AS3 is related with the cash flow statement, which you are learning in the chapter 4, unit 2.
So basically, the importance of accounting standards, we are trying to explain that the importance of accounting standards very, you can judge from the weightage of marks also. 20 marks definitely will be asked from this particular portion of accounting standards. So you have to understand these accounting standards in such a manner that you are able to attempt, you not only attempt, you are able to achieve that 18-19 marks out of 20 marks. Then we have preparation of financial statements. We have already explained this is very important to be prepared in line with Schedule 3. And
Schedule 3 format is also provided in the annexure.
Of in chapter 4. Yeah, in chapter 4 there is an.
Ma'am, students not aware about the annexure only ना. वो students क्या करते हैं कि skip कर देते हैं कि नहीं बस ये question पढ़ा बाकी छोड़ो, और वो Schedule 3 की तरफ जाते ही नहीं है. तो we are advising you कि you should go through the annexure also, read the Schedule 3 format and learn it and try to write it.
And that ऐसा भी नहीं है कि सिर्फ चैप्टर 4 के लिए ही आपको शेड्यूल 3 का अनेक्सर चाहिए. आपको शेड्यूल 3 जो है, शेड्यूल 3 आपको जितने भी कंपनी के क्वेश्चंस हैं, आपको जहां पे भी प्रिपरेशन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट एंटिटी बनाना है, वहां हर जगह पे आपको शेड्यूल 3 का ही फॉर्मेट फॉलो करना है. डिवीजन 1 का फॉर्मेट फॉलो होगा हर जगह फॉर पर्टिकुलर पर्पस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट एज पर एएस.
पेपर 5 में भी आपका यही यूज होगा.
हाँ, सेम फॉर.
तो आपको एक बार याद करना और दोनों पेपर में आपका काम हो जाएगा.
If you are appearing for both the groups. Otherwise also, if you are appearing for single group, then also you are required to understand the requirements of the format. It is not like this that you cannot remember. You are while practicing more and more questions, and while preparing the assets and liability side, then you will automatically remember the formats. It's not like this that you have to do something rote learning. You're not required to do anything in rote learning format. Then investment, insurance claim, hire purchase, installment, sale transactions component chapters are there, which are independent up to certain extent, but connected up to certain extent, because while accounting for investment, you have to consider AS 13 into mind. You have to see that whether we are buying the investment for long-term purpose or short-term, whether these investments are short-term, and accordingly you will have to value the investment at cost or market value, whichever is less, or if we are acquiring it for the purpose of long-term for investment purpose, then at cost only. No diminution is to be provided for any reduction in the value. So that has to be considered while doing the questions of investment accounting. Then we have insurance claim. Insurance claim, again, we have two types of insurance claim: for loss of stock or for loss of profit. And we have to consider the formula. We have to consider the technicalities of the computation. Here, the computation part is very important while solving the problems. Then we have hire purchase and installment sale transactions. and department branch account from incomplete records. In department branch account from incomplete records, again around 20 marks portion will be asked on this particular portion of the syllabus. So while preparing for the examination, you have to consider the weightage of the topics also. If a particular chapter is carrying 12 to 16 marks, then definitely you have to accordingly prepare for it, and you have to accordingly give more priority to those topics.
Practice is very much necessary for the practical paper.
Yeah, definitely. We have already told the September 2021 edition of the study material on paper 1 accounting is applicable for May 22 examination. The students who have additions prior to this may refer the uploaded chapters for the revised content. Where you have to refer the revised chapters in, especially in chapter 3, where the applicability of accounting standards is concerned, because there has been a revision in the criteria for applicability of accounting standards. So that you have to see the revised portion, and then again in company accounts portion, where we are saying that there has been amendment in schedule 3 which is applicable from 1st April 2021. So that you have to consider while solving the questions of the companies.
We always try to provide you all the updated material through the website, and for any other information we try to provide you this information through. Now there is a BOS mobile app also. With mobile app, we are also providing the information. Is there any change, RTPs, or all the announcement we are providing through the ICI web hosting.
And our virtual classes, our live classes are also going successfully. You can also see those classes through that app also. And you can also raise the queries in between the sessions, where our faculty are always there to help you for the particular queries. This is regarding amendments in Schedule 3, Division 1 to the Companies Act 2013. As I have already told you, that there have been certain amendments which have been applicable for from the date of 1st April 2021, and these amendments are very much applicable for you in May 22 examination. Some of the major important amendments are like current maturities of long-term debt. Earlier we used to show that as current liability, but now we are showing as short-term borrowing according to the amendment. So these type of amendments are very important, because these are basically changing the
change of presentation.
Changing the classification of the particular liability. Earlier we were showing it as current liability, but now we are showing it as short-term borrowing. This is a presentation difference. Again, under criteria for classification of non-corporate entities, regarding applicability of accounting standards, this has been changed. Now we have four categories of companies, non-company entities, for the purpose of applicability of accounting standards. Earlier we used to have 3. So
now we have 4.
Yeah, now we have 4. And basically micro, small and medium sized entities has been recently added. So the entire criteria has to be considered accordingly, and chapter 3 unit 1 has been thoroughly revised in line with the revised criteria in September 2021 edition. So I hope that you have already prepared accordingly, and you have accordingly done the questions according to the revised criteria.
The same information we have already provided in the RTP, which is applicable for May 2022 examination, and all the material which is related to the criteria we have already incorporated in the material, and this material also hosted on the ICI website.
If you have the earlier edition, you can refer the revised one from the website.
The link is also provided here for your ready reference, so it will be beneficial for you.
So this we have already told you that chapter 3 unit 1 we have already revised in September 2021 edition, where you can refer it. And in chapter 4, the chapter has also been updated in line with the provisions of the Companies Act. It also incorporates amendments in Schedule 3, as we have already told you. Again, the same thing, chapter 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, all these chapters have to be considered in line with the revised Schedule 3. So while solving the questions of the companies from these particular chapters, while preparing the financial statement of the companies, you have to consider the Schedule 3 amendment also. Ind AS IFRS are not applicable for May 22 examination. And regarding the structure of the question paper is having 6 questions in totality. Each question consists of 20 marks, and question 1 will be compulsory, and out of the remaining 5 questions you are required to attempt any 4. It means you have choice. You have choice, one choice in as a whole, and one choice, internal choice is also there in either in question 6 or any other question it may be there, but generally in question number 6 one internal choice is there. Question number 1, which is a compulsory question,
and
it
which
is
is
based on
accounting standards.
So it means accounting standards are very important to be understood, and only 8 accounting standards there in your syllabus. If you learn them thoroughly, if you have understood them thoroughly, then 20 marks you have attained. There is no loss of any marks from that particular portion. And wherever necessary, you have to write all the suitable accounting assumptions, all the assumptions which have been made by you. Generally, the question, sometimes the question requires some assumptions to be made while solving the questions, like suppose we are not given that we have to, what basis of valuation we have to consider, whether it is average or whether it is FIFO. So that particular assumption has to be considered while solving the question of valuation of investments. So that particular assumption, if we are making, that we are taking it as on average cost basis, that particular assumption we have to write by solving the question. We can solve it accordingly if we have mentioned that particular assumption with this particular basis of valuation we are taking. Then no marks will be deducted and we can solve the question accordingly.
Because many times students ask that there is some assumption based questions, because while setting any question there can be some places where assumption can be there. So they ask that we have attempt our question on the basis of this assumption, on this assumption, but you have to clearly mention on your answer sheet that you are solving on the basis of this assumption only. So the examining and the paper checking can be easily on the basis of that assumption.
Evaluator should know that what is the basis of your solving the answer. The questions involving application analysis may comprise of questions testing the student's ability to analyze and apply accounting concepts, principles of accounting, and specific accounting standards and legislation to different business transactions, which can be used while preparing and presenting financial statements. So basically, the questions in the question paper will consist of, in your intermediate level, application and analysis component, as well as comprehension and knowledge. Comprehension and knowledge questions are basically about to ask, to describe, to state, to explain such type of problems. I think you can solve these questions accordingly as per the requirement of the question. First of all, you have to see what is the requirement of the question, and then only you have to write the answer accordingly. This we have already explained. This also interlinking between topics also we have explained earlier. Like the explanation and interpretation of these accounting standards are given in chapter 3 of our study material. We have also given you the bare text of accounting standards in accounting pronouncement booklet, where we are providing the bare text of accounting standards. So if any student wants to refer the bare text, you can see the accounting pronouncement and you can study from there. It is advised that after studying each standard explained in our chapter 3, you can refer the bare text of accounting standards for building strong conceptual knowledge on the accounting standards. Provisions of AS 13 will be applied in chapter on investment. So you can see the interlinking between the topics, and you can see that like AS 13 is there. So AS 13 is to be used for chapter 9 also. AS 13 is to be used for chapter 9 also, and AS 3 is to be used for.
So you should learn these chapters along with these accounting standards. It will be very helpful to you. Hai na?
Yeah. And in branch accounting, again, for foreign branches, AS 11 is applicable. However, it does not seem that it does not look like this, that in branches also AS will be applicable. But for foreign branches, when we are solving the question of foreign branches, what is an integral foreign operation, what is non-integral foreign operation, and how we have to translate the foreign currency monetary items, that you have to see according to AS 11 only. Financial statements of companies we have already explained. how to study the accounting standards. Mainly the students' problem is the portion of accounting standard. They do not know how to study the accounting standards. They do not know how to solve the questions on accounting standard, how to write the answers on the problems of accounting standards. So that's why we are saying that you have to read only those paras of the accounting standards from bare text, which are bold and italics. You have to apply the provisions of those accounting standards through examples, whichever is given in the study material, and you have to practice the illustrations on AS given in the study material. These are the accounting standards which are applicable for your May 22 examination. Regarding preparation of financial statements, you already know that vertical formats have been prescribed for preparation and presentation of financial statements, and major heads to be shown on the face of the balance sheet or statement of profit and loss, details to be shown as under the notes to accounts. So I think this is given in the students are already familiar with all this. You can skip it. And cross-reference of each item of the balance sheet and statement of profit and loss shall be made to the related information in the notes to accounts. So you have to see the numbering of also of the notes to accounts. If suppose property, plant and equipment is given in the balance sheet and you are giving as a note to account number 4 to that, then as at number 4 you are required to give the details of the property, plant, like what is the land, what is the building, what is machinery, and accordingly after reduction of depreciation you have to see the net figures, and that net amount is to be shown as the property, plant, equipment net amount in the balance sheet.
Actually, sometimes students ask that they are going to prepare only the Schedule 3 format of balance sheet, but can they skip the notes to accounts?
No, they cannot skip the notes to account. Notes to accounts are part and parcel of the financial statements, and you have to prepare accordingly. Even the notes to accounts, as such, what happens in the notes to accounts, we are giving the details. We are not giving the details in the head of the balance sheet. We are not giving the details as a in the balance sheet, but we are giving the details, the exact classifications of all the components of the particular head.
I think the Schedule 3 format में balance sheet में सिर्फ total item आ जाता है, but कुछ item के अंदर क्या categories हैं, क्या-क्या सब चीजें हैं, वो हम notes to accounts में आप पूरी detailing में देते हैं. और उसकी calculations के लिए अगर further उसमें कुछ calculation हम working notes का use करते हैं. That means आपका balance sheet का format, notes to accounts and working notes, ये सब आपके balance sheet का ही part है, and you have to prepare all of that.
Yes, definitely. Suppose that's what we have told, na? Like if we are having property, plant, equipment as a head, then what are the details of property, plant, equipment that may consist of land, that may consist of building, that may consist of any other item of property, plant, equipment like machinery, whatever infrastructure you are having. Under hire purchase, we have cash price and interest expense method in the books of hire purchaser. And in the books of hire vendor, we have sales and interest expense method, which are given in the study material, which we are required to study. From hire purchase, generally 4 to 6 marks questions are being asked. Sometimes 8 marks question is also being asked, but generally 4 marks question is being asked from this particular chapter. So accordingly, you can prepare from this particular topic. Chapter investment, I have already told you that while valuing the closing balance of the investment, sometimes
you have to follow AS2.
AS2 and AS13, and they are both have to be connected. AS2 has to be followed when you are keeping the investment as a broker, as a trader. You are not keeping the investment for long-term purpose. You are not keeping the investment as an
investor. That
investor.
means, ma'am, main base of the accounting is the only accounting standards. The accounting standards are going to provide us how to we calculate, how to value the items, and the chapters are there only on the basis of accounting standards.
Definitely, accounting standards provide you the valuation norms. They are providing you the guidance, and they are providing you the complete picture for the accounting. And you have to see which particular asset, which particular item has to be treated, and on what lines. Accordingly, you have to consider, and accordingly, you have to value it for the purpose of solving the question. Insurance claims, again, we have 2 types of insurance claim. One is for loss of stock
and loss of profit.
And under loss of profit policy, we are covering loss of net profit, standing charges, increased cost of stock, any working if you are having. Because if some fire or something happens, some mishappening happens, then definitely you have to see the other factors also. Your business is disrupted for so much time. You have to you have to dislocate your business operations and you have to shift it to some new location. For that, again, you have some increased cost of working. And some standing charges are there, even if you're not having any sale, you're not having any profit, but still some standing charges, some fixed charges are there, which you have to bear. So those standing charges are irrespective of the fact whether you are gaining anything or whether your business is continuously running into losses and you are not gaining anything. So claim for loss of profit is equal to net profit plus insured standing charges. Whatever the standing charges you have got insured from the insurance company. And gross profit is equal to insured standing charges less net trading loss, if any, multiplied by insured standing charges divided by all standing charges of the business. How to answer case study based questions. This is basically relevant for the section of accounting standards. You have to analyze the facts of the case. You have to analyze the facts of the situation which is being provided to you. And in reference to the provisions of accounting standards, you have to judge whether the treatment given in the question to you is correct or not. If it's correct, you have to write accordingly. If it's incorrect, you have to mention the correct treatment. अगर गलत दिया हुआ है तो हमें उसके अंदर सही क्या होना चाहिए वह भी बताना है. And then accordingly you have to conclude the question, you have to conclude the answer by justifying your explanation, by justifying your accounting treatment, and you have to substantiate that with the relevant provision of the accounting standards.
हम इसमें एक पॉइंट और ऐड करेंगे कि sometimes स्टूडेंट्स के मॉक टेस्ट पेपर्स आते हैं हमारे पास रिव्यू के लिए जिसमें उन्होंने जो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स अटेम्प्ट किया होता है उसमें वन लाइनर आंसर दिया होता है. आप स्टूडेंट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ये 5 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन है जिसमें आपको एक केस स्टडी दी है. उस केस स्टडी को एनालाइज करके आपको बताना है कि क्या ट्रीटमेंट देना है. आप वन लाइन में आंसर नहीं दे सकते कि नो दिस इज नॉट द करेक्ट सॉल्यूशन. आपको प्रॉपर उसको बताना है कि किस अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड से रिलेटेड है, वो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड क्या बताना चाहता है आपको, कि आपको उसका क्या ट्रीटमेंट करना है. पहले आप उसको करेक्ट बताएंगे कि एज पर दिस अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड दिस ट्रीटमेंट शुड बी देयर. ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस आप उस केस स्टडीज को एनालाइज करेंगे कि उन्होंने क्या ट्रीटमेंट किया है, उसके बाद कंक्लूड करेंगे. सिर्फ कंक्लूजन नहीं देना है, आपको प्रॉपर उसको स्टेप बाय स्टेप लिखना है. और फॉर इसी के लिए आपको कहा जाता है कि आप मॉक टेस्ट पेपर अटेम्प्ट करो. ट्राई टू सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस बाय राइटिंग ऑन द पेपर.
That's what we are saying, that first of all you have to understand the practicality of the situation which is given to you. Then you have to judge whether the treatment given in the question, if the treatment is given in the question, it is correct or incorrect. If it is incorrect, you have to see that what should be the correct treatment. Then you have to say that the situation given in the question is situation given in the question requires this particular application of AS, and this particular para is applicable here. But the question the treatment given is incorrect. The accountant is giving the wrong treatment, but AS 16 says this, or AS whatever AS is saying, and you have to quote it accordingly, and then you have to say that this is a correct accounting treatment which should be there in line with the AS. Then you can conclude the answer. But for 5 marks question, at least you have to give half page answer. At least 7-8 lines must be there.
For one line answer, आपको कितना marks मिल जाएगा?
You will not be given any marks. Should we see the queries also?
Yeah. Stop.
Pooja, Manish, Shruti Santosh. Shruti Santosh is saying, good morning, ma'am. I'm a direct entry student, will be appearing exam for the first time. It will be really helpful if you share some important points or tips that you have to keep in mind. We have to keep in mind. Shruti, the same thing which we are sharing to you, this will benefit you for
points regarding answer sheet and other points.
The same thing we are telling you is for the examination purpose only. I think it would be really helpful for you. Let us continue and then we will come back. The previously downloaded queries you can see. There are any. I want to attend exam. I want to know Deepak Kumar is asking to score maximum marks allotted. Deepak, by doing more and more questions, you will be able to attain confidence, and then I think you will be able to score the maximum marks. And Laksh is asking us accounting on incomplete record. How would in accounting on incomplete records, you are given some data where we have to complete the information. We have to calculate the missing information, and then from missing information we have to complete the information, and then only we can proceed for solving the questions of calculation of profit or loss.
Vishal Kama is asking, how can we register for mock test paper 2? Physical mode for May 2022 examination.
I think now the mock test papers
is already
over. Mock test papers are
but
over.
You can attempt which are hosted on the website, and then you can evaluate with the answers or which are also hosted on the website, which are already uploaded.
If paper given in Pushpa Kishore Surana is asking paper given in ICA branch, then we can get checked answer sheet. Yes, you can approach the branches for evaluation, and branches help you in evaluating your answer sheet. Where you have attempted the, where you have registered yourself, or where you have attempted the questions, in which branch you have attempted, you can go there and you can ask for the evaluation also. Balwant Singh, how to write answer for practical and theoretical questions. We have already suggested you, Balwant, that for practical questions, you have to see the requirement of the question. If the question is asking you to prepare cash flow statement, then you have to prepare it accordingly. And for theoretical questions, you have to be straight to the point of the question requirement, and whatever the question is asking you to write, that only that answers you have to write, not loose answers, not any vague answers, and to the point answer you have to write in the examination. Sayali Wagmade, test paper account paper is not uploaded online. No, it's already uploaded.
Already hosted
it's
on the
already
website.
Uploaded. You can check it again. You can refresh and then you can check it again. Bugata Satish, please provide accounts question paper with MCQs and also provide solutions of the exam paper. Actually, in examination question paper, you are not the MCQs are not asked in the examination question paper right now for paper 1. So that's why in mock test also we are not covering the MCQs.
The MCQs which we are providing you in the papers is only for your conceptual clarity, not for the examination purpose.
Boom Devi S is asking bonus shares. Can the board decide neither to pay dividend nor to issue any bonus shares? It depends upon the board of companies only to provide dividend or bonus depending upon the ability of profits. So definitely you have to check with the Companies Act, but I think it is up to the authority of board of directors only. Jyoteshwar is asking about previous question papers. The previous question papers also are there in the website, and if you want the solved ones, and we have suggested answers also.
We will try to also share the screen of the ICA website. Here we will try to help you how you can reach all these question papers and RTPs and mock test paper. I think many students are not aware about what we are providing through the CA Institute website.
We can show the BOS knowledge portal. This is the page is incomplete actually, no? We are showing you through the how to access the institute website, and where we are providing all the previous year question papers and the suggested answers to the previous year examinations. You can see that everything is being there.
Here is the CA Institute website. Under the ribbon of students, there is a BOS knowledge portal. After clicking this BOS knowledge portal, all the important announcements are hosted under the announcement section. In announcements, all the latest announcement will be there. Foundation course, intermediate, final, and events, and any residential program and any other qualifications related announcements. Right now, in the same below the announcements, there is a BOS knowledge portal. After clicking it, in BOS knowledge portal, we are providing what is the BOS knowledge portal. Then the latest mock test papers are posted on these pages. And then after that, when we are going to the intermediate, in intermediate course, when we are clicking it, in intermediate, there are syllabus and chapter wise, accounting, paper 1, all papers are there. And below this, there are RTPs, suggested, summary of examiner comments.
Show the suggested answers.
We can also show the suggested answers. In the suggested answer, where the last year questions paper are there. July 21, January 21, November 20, and November 19.
In suggested answers, you are also having the solved question papers. We are having the question papers accordingly, and they are also being solved. However, you can see the question papers also. If you want the unsolved ones, so they are from May 18 to December 21. All the question papers are there. So around 8 attempts, the question papers are there. You can check from the website.
Under the accounting paper 1, we have providing the study material, RTP, suggested, MTP, question papers, and reference for the quick revision. It will also helpful to you.
These are basically the capsules which we have prepared for the student journal, and in these capsules we are providing the summary of the topics of the curriculum. So here we have tried to explain the entire chapter through the form of flowcharts, tabular presentations or diagrams, which will definitely help you in quick understanding of the chapters. MTP also we can show once. If one student was asking that the MTP of series 2 was not uploaded.
MTPs are here.
You can see all those MTPs are here.
Series 1 here, series 2 is here.
Come back, we can come back now. I think the students are following it now. So coming back to this, we can continue with this. Many of the students are asking for the preparation strategy only, and they are basically they are more concerned about the examination. They are not able to attend the questions in the examination hall and within the prescribed time. So for this, we have to prepare the strategy, and we have to accordingly prepare ourselves we have to prepare accordingly so that the examination time is utilized to the maximum possible extent, and the questions are not left there. We are able to attempt the entire question paper within the prescribed time. For this, we have to definitely take the benefit of the reading time, where we can decide the priority of the questions which we will be attempting. We know that which is our best area and which question we have to attempt at first, because we are very confident in that particular question. So I think regarding preparation strategy, we are thorough with it. You have to plan your studies in a manner that you are having at least 2 rounds of revision. Now
this is the last time of the revision.
Now you have 15 days more, so you are just giving the final revision for your earlier revisions. You are just giving the final recap, and you have to practice solving a good number of questions on each topic. Now, what you can do? You cannot start doing all the questions again. You can choose 2 or 3 important questions from each particular concept, and then you can solve it accordingly. You can compare your solved answer with the study material answer, and you can also attempt the previous question papers. Now it's not advised that you are required to solve all the questions of the study material, but now at this point of time, you are advised to attempt the previous year question papers, so that you will gain the confidence, and you will know where you are required to work more, so that those particular areas you can brush upon again. And keep yourself updated. It's very important that you have to keep yourself updated, as we have already told that there are two important amendments in there. in your curriculum. Number 1 is applicability of accounting standard to non-corporate entities, revised criteria, and number 2 is Schedule 3 amendment, which we are covering in our RTP also, and in questions given in the RTP also, and the September 2021 edition also incorporates those amendments. So you are advised to read those particular amendments very carefully. One more problem is that in many of the chapters, many of the students in fact go for selective study. They do not read the entire questions. They do not read the entire chapters, and they say that we have choice. We have choice, so we will leave one particular topic and we can attempt the question in the examination. But what happens? The particular topic which they have prepared, they are not able to solve the question of that particular topic in the examination. So now they are not having any choice. उन्होंने जो प्रिपेयर किया होता है उस पे से जो टॉप क्वेश्चन आता है वो उनको समझ ही नहीं आता, तो अब उनके लिए बहुत मुश्किल हो जाती है. तो what in that case we can advise you that you do not go for selective study but prepare for all the topics. Sometimes what happens that the question from a particular topic comes in the examination which you are not familiar with, and this happens only because of lack of practice, because there is no practice of your you do not do any practice of the questions, so that's why the questions do not look familiar to you in the examination hall. They look quite new, they look quite strange, you're not able to attempt those questions. So all the topics are important from the examination perspective. And what is the pattern of the question asked? We have already told you. However, you can refer the suggested exam answers of the past examination also for this particular. How to approach a numerical problem. Conceptual clarity is very important. While attempting a theoretical question, what important points should be kept in mind? The given information and requirement of the question you have to read. You have to understand what the question is asking for, and then you have to write the answer accordingly, keeping in consideration the marks of the question also. You have to write clearly and crisply. This we have already told you that we have study material, we have RTP, suggested answer and mock test papers, student journal for academic updates. We have told you about this quick reference. And video lectures. You should study the accounting standards or topics in integrated manner. Like if you are studying AS3, then you have to solve the questions of chapter 4 unit 2 also along with it. If you are studying AS13 from chapter 3 unit 2, then you can solve the questions from chapter 9 also in line with that.
Interlinking of the topics.
Yeah. At the same time, you can study the chapter. In that case, if you are preparing for AS13, your two topics are simultaneously being prepared. Chapter 9 as well as AS13. And how to improve marks in the question paper? First, write the answer which you know the best. That priority you will decide in the reading time of 15 minutes and attempt all the subparts of a particular question at one place. Handwriting is very important. You have to clearly write the figures. There should be less cutting. Very frequent cutting is not. Do not try to avoid very frequent cuttings in the examination hall, and read the questions carefully. Read the figures given in the question paper carefully. Sometimes what happens, just copying the figures from the question paper.
It's also very wrong.
They mistake comments. The students commit mistakes, and they solve the question based on the everything is correct. But the figures, based on the wrong figures, they are solving the question.
Even ma'am, sometimes when they are carry forwarding the figures from first page to another page, they are also carry forwarding the wrong figures.
Some zeros are left. So that thing you have to keep in mind while attempting the questions in the examination.
And these mistakes can be avoided when you start your practicing. Written practice, not just reading the question. Try to attempt your question by writing on the paper.
More and more practice of the practical questions will lead more confidence in you, and you will definitely succeed when you have more confidence in your workings. All assumptions and working notes, we have already told you that all assumptions and working notes are very important to be prepared, and you have these important working notes. These working notes carry marks, so you have to see that any working note is not missed out while solving the problem, and do rough workings for your future reference also, because you will not be able to see what mistake you have done while practicing the questions. If you are attempting the questions in your register, do all the rough workings also, because while comparing the answers from the suggested answers, or while comparing the answers from the study material, if you find any mistake, so where you have committed mistake, that only you can compare only when you have done your workings, and you can compare it accordingly. That particular point is to be kept into consideration while solving the questions. This we have already covered, that how to revise your concepts, how to manage time in the examination hall. This is very important. This I would like to emphasize more. You have to make optimum use of 15 minutes given for reading, where you have to decide which question you will be attempting first. Here the sequence of the question you can decide. Which question you will be attempting first and how you will proceed accordingly afterwards. Go through all the questions quickly. You can see the question paper. You can judge where you are where you are more comfortable with, which question you will be attempting at first. Select the question you will be attempting from all the questions, which question you will be leaving. It means which question you will be leaving. Now you have to decide. Mark the question which you will be attempting first. Allocate an estimated time for each question based on the difficulty level and marks. That 10 or 15 minutes for revisions you can keep for the last. For 3 hours paper, you will get around 30 minutes for each question, but give 25 minutes for each question, because at least 30-35 minutes you can give for each question. But 10-15 minutes we want that revision. For revision 10-15 minutes you should have the spare time where you can revise your answers. If any mistake is found, then you can solve, you can recorrect it and you can solve it later.
Sometimes students क्या करते हैं कि एक ही क्वेश्चन पे 1 hour या 1 hour 30 minutes लगा देते हैं. You have to attempt 6 questions. If you are allocating 1 hour on one question, then how much time you have remaining? You cannot attempt your whole question paper, na? So you have to manage your time, and for managing your time, your written practice is very much necessary. You have 15 days right now. Try to attempt question. That means when you are selecting any question or written, and try to attempt within that 20-minute time, 20 to 25 minutes, and it will help you to manage your time during your examination hour.
We have to attempt 5 questions. You have to attempt 5 questions, and each question carries 20 marks. So basically, the main problem with the students for this particular paper is that they find the question paper lengthy. Always they complained that the question paper was lengthy. They were not able to complete within the prescribed time period.
So lengthy तो अपने आप ही, because क्योंकि वो 1 घंटा 1.5 घंटा तो एक ही क्वेश्चन में लगा दिया.
Actually, what happens if the balance sheet is not tallied? They waste time in getting it tallied. They compare the figures again and again. They solve it again and again and try to get it tallied. So we would like to advise that you do not waste time on that particular question. Leave that question for the time being and start working with the another problem. Even if your balance sheet is not tallied, but you have put all the figures correctly, you have solved all the calculations correctly, then you will not lose marks. Only the step mark of totaling.
Step marking is there, so you will not lose any marks for not telling the balance sheet. Only the step mark for the totaling will not be provided to you. If all the other things are correct, then you will definitely gain marks for that. And write each answer in commensurate with the marks which the question carries. Answer should be precise and to the point. This is especially for the theoretical question. One more important thing is that all parts of a particular question should be attempted at one place. Like if you are starting with question number 1, then all parts of question number 1, it should not be like this. After attempting question number 1A, you are attempting 2B, then you are again attempting 1B, then you are attempting 2A. That should not be there. All parts of question number 1 should be attempted first at one place. Then only you should start with question number 2. Even मैम स्टूडेंट्स को कैलकुलेटर की भी प्रैक्टिस नहीं होती. आप जिस कैलकुलेटर को यूज कर रहे हैं ड्यूरिंग योर प्रैक्टिस टाइम ना, ट्राई टू यूज दैट कैलकुलेटर इन एग्जामिनेशन हॉल ओनली, बिकॉज आपके फिंगर्स उसी पे चलती है. Your setting of fingers will be there on the calculator which you are using previously.
while practicing the questions, and then you will be able to solve the figures correctly through that particular calculator in the
And
examination
also
hall.
it will manage your time, na?
Yeah, it will also lead to less wastage of time, that way we can say. Scientific calculator is not allowed, and rounding off is generally preferred up to 2 or 3 decimal places. So don't go beyond like this 65.888765. Do not write so long. You have to round it off up to either 65.89 or 65.889. Give all the necessary working notes as part of the main solution to the problem. If there are many approaches to solve a problem, mention the assumptions considered in the solution, since it is a basis on which the solution is derived. So while attempting the questions in the examination hall, you have to see that if the question is of such nature, if the question requires such type of workings where we are having 2 or more options, or if such situation is there, then we have to write that on which particular basis we are attempting the answer, on which particular basis we are drafting the answer, that we have to write. And do not mention wrong accounting standard name or number or the PAN number in the solution. If suppose the question is asked on AS2 and you are writing about AS16 and some wrong PAN number, so do not write that thing if you are not sure of it, because AS mentioning PAN number of AS is not at all required in the answers. But if you are writing it, then definitely wrong quoting of the numbers. Suppose para 35 of AS16, you are not sure whether it's para 35 or not, but you write it para 35. Then what will happen? You will lose marks. It's better not to quote the number of the standard if you are not sure of it. Number of the standard as well as number of the paragraph if you're not sure of it. But I think the number of the accounting standards you must know, like AS2 is valuation of inventories, AS3 is cash flow. At least the number of the accounting standard you must be familiar
and
with.
there is only 8 accounting standards.
Yeah.
You can easily learn it.
Yeah, you are advised to remember that. This I think we have already covered. And what about the general type of mistakes which the students generally commit? In standard-based question means the question number 1 basically, where students were unable to substantiate their conclusion by applying the provision of the accounting standards. This we have already.
या तो वो क्या करते हैं, 1 लाइन आंसर लिख देते हैं, या फिर पूरी कहानी लिखने के बाद कंक्लूड नहीं करते हैं कि आपको करना क्या है, व्हाट इज द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, दे मिस्ड आउट.
एंड इन डेप्थ नॉलेज नहीं होता बच्चों को. the answers the students exhibit,
they are just giving the vague answer only.
They are just giving the vague answers. बिल्कुल ऊपर से answers देते हैं, अंदर का कुछ नहीं पता होता. So that situation should not be there, because it will give to definitely negative impression and definitely give to lesser marks.
Sometimes even students do one thing, they regenerate the question. वो सिर्फ क्वेश्चन को ही दोबारा रिपीट कर देते हैं कि they try to make fool of the evaluator.
Yeah, but that is very wrong. That should not be there, because evaluator is not fool. They will make us fool by giving us less marks, and by which we will fail. We will not succeed, because at this point of time, what is your main aim? Your main aim is to qualify. Your main aim is to become a chartered accountant. But if you are trying to fool in such a manner that you are trying to fool the evaluator, then the purpose will not be suffice. The purpose will be defeated, and you will lose marks. Then you will not
even
be
they
able
are
to succeed.
fooling themselves ना, because they are wasting their time. अगर आपको नहीं आता, then leave it ना. आप उसको दोबारा लिखेंगे, you are wasting your time.
आप अगला क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कीजिए. अगर आपको वो क्वेश्चन नहीं आता तो आप अगला क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कीजिए. I think for the benefit of students, the scope of choice has been introduced, but I think because of the choice only, they are wasting their time, and they are not able to decide which question to attempt, which question to not which question to leave, and because of which their whole time is passed, and they are not able to solve the question paper. If अगर हमें पता हो कि हमें इतने ही questions करने हैं, जितने हमें दिए वो करने हैं, so I think the picture is more clear, and we know that our time is utilized in effective working of the question rather than what to leave and what not to leave. And the common error committed by the students is wrong carry forward to the amounts from one page to another in our ledger.
Which we have already explained.
This also resulted into mistake of further computation. Whatever amount is used, and it will definitely lose marks. And the students also do not take care of the format of financial statements, which is one of the important criteria. However, in paper 1 only the formats of schedule 3 is to be remembered. And the amendments, recent amendments, again, the recent amendments you have to keep in mind by solving the questions. Necessary working notes have to be provided because they form part of the main solution, and all the assumptions have to be written while working on the solutions. Otherwise, it will lead to reduction of marks. We have already told you.
Because working notes are also carrying the marks. If you are not providing the working note, that means you are losing your marks.
Now, what happened that if a particular question is given in the study material, that same type of question is being asked in the examination, then so there is no problem. If the replica of the question comes again, there is no problem. The students are very comfortable with the questions. They are able to solve the questions accordingly. But if there is any twist and turn, if the question, if the paper setter makes any new adjustment or any new tricky point in the question make some tricky point in the question, or add some 2 or 3 questions and make a new fresh question, combined question, then the students find it very difficult. They say that they are not able to solve the question
Paper
now
is very
because
lengthy.
the paper is very lengthy, and the twist in the question put the students in the state of confusion, which ultimately reflected in their answers. So that we have to consider that as a student, we have to see that the knowledge, to attain knowledge should be our aim, rather than just to remember the questions and to if the replica of the question comes in the examination, then to solve it fatafat se. Otherwise we are not able to solve that question. That situation should be avoided. That situation should not be there. And we should avoid giving irrelevant details even for small questions, thereby spending unnecessary time on the question which is not required. We should restrict our answers according to the marks allotted to the question. Do not go for selective study and focus on theoretical or conceptual understanding of the topic. Do adequate written practice of the practical and medical questions. In every time for accounting papers, we say the same thing, that do more and more practice, do more and more practice. This will also help you in time management and attaining speed. Be careful with the information, because I have told you that many times what happens, while solving the question, we use the information in the wrong manner. If 1 lakh is given in the question paper, we are writing 10,000 or we are writing 10 lakhs. So this, because of this only, there is a problem in the solution, and our solution is not correct. We do not attain marks. Assess the preparation level by attempting previous year question papers under mock examination conditions. This also we have told, this is very important. Like we should know that
self-evaluation is very much necessary.
Yeah.
Very important. Only on the basis of attempting the mock test paper, you can evaluate yourself and find out the weak points of yourself.
How to manage time we have already
covered.
So this we will tell them in the end. If you want to note that this is for queries, this is an email ID. We are holding this slide for a while, and you can note this. And after this, we will show you we will show you the current MTP as well as the answers, so that we can discuss the MTP. accounting-enter@icai.in for any queries. If you want our help for any queries connected with the study material or our knowledge inputs, if you want our guidance, you can mail us at this particular ID. I hope you have already noted it. Now we can move to the queries just for a while, and we can see that if any queries are there, if any fresh queries are there. Queries. Already we have covered. No? this though we have already covered. Let's show the MTP once. MTP we can show and we can guide you about how to answer the questions. You can see. Are you able to see the MTP? This is the MTP which has been hosted on the website in April 2022 series. This is mock test paper 2. You can see the question paper pattern. In question number 1, we are asking you 4 parts of accounting standard based question, and they are 5 marks each. Yeah. So now you can see that in the question it is being asked that a particular company, certain costs have been provided to you, and you are asked to guide. You are asked to provide the guidance as to whether these costs can be capitalized into the cost of new building as per AS 10 or not. Now, what answer we will be giving? We will be giving the answer accordingly. That
what is the requirement? Requirement is which cost you can capitalize or not.
Yeah. So we will give the answer accordingly, that the costs which are required to be capitalized into cost of building are these costs, and these costs will not be capitalized, and then accordingly we can give our answer as per AS 10. You can see the answer also. Now you can see the answer also. Here we are clearly saying that constructing or acquiring a new asset may result in incremental costs that would have been avoided if the asset had not been constructed or acquired. These costs are not included in the cost of building if they are not directly attributable to the bring the asset to the location and condition necessary for it to be capable of operating in the manner intended by the management. So what we are saying that these costs are in the nature of the cost of reducing or reorganizing the operation of the company, and they do not meet the requirement of AS 10. So as they do not meet the requirement of AS 10, so they cannot be capitalized. So this type of answer we want for the accounting stand based question. We were given the facts, we were given that these are the costs which have been provided. Now you have to judge, you have to give your guidance as per the AS 10 that whether these costs can be included in the part of cost of property, plant and equipment or not. So now we are saying as in the answer that these costs are not in the nature of the cost of AS 10 which can be added in the cost of PPE. So hence, because these costs are not directly attributable to bring the asset to the location and condition necessary for it to be capable of operating in the manner intended by management, so these costs are not capitalized. So hence the answer is not too big, but the answer is justifying. The answer is justifying the requirement of the question, and as per the requirement of the question, what answer should have been given is this is the correct answer. And again, in question number of AS 12, the question was given us that the grant had to be refunded at the beginning of the 3rd year. So what you are required to see that at the beginning of the 3rd year, what amount of balance is there in our grant account, and that because now it is being refunded, so you have to reverse the entry. And you have to, whatever balance is there in the deferred grant account, that has to be debited now, and by debiting the balance to P&L account, because the remaining will not be now able to be deferred, because now we have to refund the amount. We have to refund the amount of 16 lakh. So we have to refund the amount of 16 plus 16, 32 lakh to the bank, which we have already received through the government. So this type of requirement you have to see. And now you can see that these three working notes we are providing. What is the value of fixed asset after 2 years before refund of grant? And what is the value of fixed asset after refund of grant? So these working notes are important. And what is the amount of depreciation for the remaining 2 years? Now we have to see that. The asset, the book value of the asset after refund of grant is now 44 lakhs. That we have to see that this is now 44 lakhs. And as per AS 12 accounting for government grant, income from deferred grant is allocated to profit and loss account usually over the periods and the proportion with the depreciation on the related asset is charged. So you can see that the requirement of the question was show the general entity to be passed at the time of refund of grant and the value of fixed asset in the third year and the amount of depreciation for remaining 2 years. So all the things we are providing in the answer as part of our main answer itself, as part of our main solution itself. Again, in part C of the question, it is related with AS2. You can see how to answer the accounting standard based question. How to answer the accounting standard based question according to the requirement of the question. As per AS2, we are required to state with reference to AS2 that how will the inventories be valued in this particular case, where in the production process normal wastage is 5% of input. 5,000 MT of input were put in process, resulting in wastage of 300 MT. So you can see that 5,000 were the input, 5,000 metric ton were the input, and 5% of the input were our wastage. 5,000 into 5%, that is 250. And however, the wastage is 300. However, the wastage is 300. So it means that 300 minus 250, 50 is the extra weightage, which is abnormal waste, and 250 was the normal waste. So the normal wastage is to be spread over the good quantity. That has to be spread over the good quantity. So the total cost is 50 lakh divided by 4,750. However, for 50, the abnormal loss will be there, which will be directly charged to profit and loss statement account. And the value of inventory, total value of inventory of 4,700 metric ton will be determined on the basis of cost metric ton of this particular amount. Why this? Because the normal waste is to be considered, but not abnormal waste is not to be considered. And again, part D of the question, we are giving that we have to write that there is a certain change in the valuation policy of the company. Earlier, we used to make provision for non-moving stock based on no issues having occurred for the last 12 months. The company now wants a change. It wants to change it and make provision based on technical evaluation for the year ended 31st March 20. So as per AS1, we have to decide whether this is change in accounting policy or not, or can the company change this, or if the company is changing, how it will be disclosed in note to account.
First of all, we read the question very thoroughly and what is the requirement of question. On the basis of this, first we will give what will be the treatment as per the AS, and on the basis of the provision of AS, we will give the answer whether the method which the companies use is correct and not, and on the basis of this we will conclude what will be the actual answer.
Yes, so first of all we have to decide whether
we can check now query. Is there any query?
Yeah, I think from mock test paper, if you see, we can show them once the entire question paper, and the solution part, I think we have already posted on the website. So if you have any particular query, you can ask. We will be resolving it. Otherwise, because it's a very long question paper, to solve each and every answer, it's not advisable. You can see the
second question part is based on the investment accounting.
It is based on investment accounting. Average cost concept is to be applied as it is clearly written in the question that average cost concept is to be applied. And
second part is based on the claim of the loss of the stock. You have to prepare the statement. Third part is related to the difference between the hire purchase and installment, which is related to the 4 marks question.
If 4 marks question is there, for these differences, then you can write only 4 differences. You are not required to write more differences. You can write only 4, but 4 important differences.
Third is related to the branch accounting. And branch accounting may you have given the 4 branches. And right now, what is the requirement? You have to prepare on the basis of the requirement only. The requirement is the trial balance, incorporation adjustment of outstanding and prepaid expenses, converting the UK pound into Indian rupees, and the second requirement is trading and profit and loss account.
Then we have accounts of incomplete records. This is a this type of on this particular question, a student was asking something that how to solve the question on account from incomplete records, because there may be some information which is missing in the question, but you have to see, you have to solve that missing information either through equation format or through other computations, and then you can prepare the trading and profit and loss account and then balance sheet accordingly. Then we have department question. In department question, you can see that there were certain items which sold at discount, and these discounts were reflected in the values which have been given to you as actual sales in the above table. So from these information, you have to compute the values of stock of each department, and the department is showing actual amount of gross profit. Interdepartmental profit, if any is there, that has to be ignored. That has to be basically taken care of. And this is regarding redemption of debentures, where you are required to give the journal entries for the transactions which are given above. Then we have the question on bonus. It's a 4 marks question. You can see from the question. And all the questions are quite familiar. There is nothing like that the questions are entirely new or their questions. You can solve the questions if you have really studied. You can solve the questions in the time period of 3 hours. There will not be any problem at all. This is a question based on preparation of financial statements, and we have B part of pre and post incorporation. You have to divide the expenses and profits among between pre and post incorporation, and then you have to solve it accordingly.
60 question is based on accounting standard, because one more question is asked from the accounting. That means total 25 marks question is asked from the AS topic. This is related to the inadequacy.
ये चैप्टर 4 यूनिट 1 है. चैप्टर 4 यूनिट 1 के अंदर आपका है ascertain the amount that can be utilized from general reserves according to company's rules 2014, and then you have effective calculation also. So there is a choice in between, and we have AS3 question again. So AS question is more, rather in this particular, if you see, there are 30 marks question on accounting standards. If you see, there are 30 marks question on accounting standards. And then we have framework question, framework of preparation and presentation of financial statement, where it's a very simple question where we are required to show the effect of the given 4 transactions on the balance sheet in the form of assets minus liabilities is equal to equity. So you can see that how we can proceed accordingly and how we can solve the question. This is a very simple question paper, and in the instruction also, if you see that we have clearly mentioned that wherever necessary, suitable assumptions may be made and disclosed by way of note, and working note should form part of the answer. So whatever instruction is being clearly mentioned in the question, we have to follow that. And if any query is there, you can check it now. These are the new ones.
These are the new ones. Anish, ma'am, suggested answers are of RTP.
No. Suggested answers are of previous. Anish, suggested answers of are given in the website. They relate to previous examination question papers. However, RTPs are RTPs are being prepared by Board of Studies, and they contain the questions which are only for the benefit of your practice, which you can practice. They are not related with any exam as such. They are for practice only.
Anish is another.
Your screen was not displayed when you were explaining the entire process.
MTP not visible. MTP right now it was visible. I think that time it was not visible.
MTP was not visible.
Anish was asking what are suggested answers.
Anish, suggested answers are basically our answers to the past examination question papers for the intermediate paper 1, where we are providing the answers also, which you can see. However, separately there have been question papers also which have been hosted on the website, and RTPs are completely separate. Do not mix RTPs with the suggested answers.
Pooja is saying, thank you so much for your guidance, ma'am.
MTP is, I don't think MTP was not visible. Maybe for 1 minute or 2 minutes it was not visible. But you can refer the MTP again from the website. And if you have any query related with the MTP or while solving the questions of the MTP, if you have any query, you can always write to us, and we are here to solve your problems. So do not worry about this. I think we can wind up the session now. I think you have gained uh, you have gained 1 point from this particular entire session, that you have to solve more and more questions. I think we have, Asha, we have put the students in great difficulty now, because now they were earlier reading the problems and they were gaining confidence accordingly, but now they are becoming more nervous, and now they are thinking
No,
that
no, don't nervous, don't panic. You have lots of time, and don't lose your confidence. Be motivated yourself each and every time. Read your book, the study material very thoroughly. Try to attempt the question. You have sufficient time, and अगर अभी तक किसी ने written practice नहीं किया है, we will always advise the students go for the written practice.
we want only that you gain more and more confidence, and that's why we are advising to do more and more practice of the problems, because in accounting, by reading the problems, you will not be able to understand anything, and our aim was not to demotivate you. Rather, we wanted to motivate you, and you have to gain confidence only by solving the questions by your own hand. And moreover, one important thing is that you have to study the concepts in a synchronized manner, in a systematic manner, and as we have also told you about the linking of the topics, so you can interconnect the topics also, and while even while revising the topics, you can make use of that interconnectivity, and accordingly you can revise. Suppose there are two connected which are interconnected, suppose, so you can simultaneously read those topics. So we want you
even you should revise day to day. आज जो आपने पढ़ा है, you should revise next day. Then it will keep you helping in revision and reducing your time during the revision time.
Like abhi to right now, so you have only 15 days around time. So if you are preparing group 1 only, then you can make it a point that you on daily basis you give some time for accounting, and at least for last 4-5 days before the examination, you just focus on the accounting paper only, because it's very important to score good marks in this particular paper. It will boost your aggregate for the entire group, and you will be able to succeed accordingly. And our aim is just to provide guidance in such a manner that you gain more confidence, you succeed with flying colors, and you are
Attempt your question, attempt your examination very good, and clear the
you succeed with flying colors, and you clear the examination. So
with our best wishes.
We hope that you all succeed, and you gain confidence. You attempt the question paper successfully, and then your results are also positive. So be safe, prepare for the examination, and all the best for your examination. Our wishes are always with you, and all the best for your examination.
Board of Studies is always with students.
If you want to, if some students had missed in between, if you want to know the query link, again we can show the our ID where you can ask the queries. Accounting ID. You can show the ID again. You can please note down. This is the accounting-inter
at ICI.in.
You can always get in touch with us, and through this particular mail ID. BOS is always there to help you. I hope you have already noted it. We act as a guardian for you. Do not, you never feel that you are alone. We are always with you, and our support is always with you.
We are always here to guide you and motivate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
For patient hearing. Thank you. All the best once again.